brand new investigation has discovered that scammers are quietly slipping false shopping websites directly into ChatGPT. My wife actually was trying to sell some furniture, and actually happened to us as well. Welcome back to the Automated TV. I'm your host, Tak Lo, and today we're going to talk a lot about ChatGPT. ChatGPT, sorry. We're also going to talk a little bit about WWDC that just happened about an hour ago. Just some kind of cursory thoughts about actually what went on and all the updates over there. And thank you again for new subscribers. We've got 2 more subscribers. So we've just been doing very well each and every day. So thank you for your support. Comment, like, subscribe, and let us know what you think. And let's get on the episode. Okay, so first things first, we actually have ChatGPT coming in to the fore. So basically, a brand new investigation by consumer safety group Silver has discovered that scammers are quietly slipping false shopping websites directly into ChatGPT's search results. So, and the actually absolute worst part is that the AI is handing them out like free candy at a parade. So Silver researchers asked ChatGPT for information on super popular Russell and Bromley purses and bags, and AI cheerfully served up product details, but the thing is they were actually 2 completely fraudulent Russell and Buckley websites. So the clone sites looked absolutely incredibly polished, discounts and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, they were basically bad links and bad websites. So the Louis Baxter, the head of scams at National Training Centers, just basically said, do not assume websites are real just because AI recommended it. So we have a few tips on how to spot these AI scammers. Fakes they usually have kind of fake, more messy URLs. So make sure actually that you can click on these URLs. There's something that leads back to these URLs somehow, and just double verify that URL. They almost always demand payment by direct bank transfer. So definitely that is not good, because once the payment's gone, you can't get it back again. So OpenAI has confirmed this, and so they basically have, there's a reporting form that's actually on the link of the newsletter that you can actually let people know. But, it's kind of like whack-a-mole, right? Once you whack something, it comes back again. So really be careful. I will also let you know, last night, my wife actually was trying to sell some furniture, and actually happened to us as well. So over WhatsApp, somebody sent a fraudulent website, a meta payments website. And that's just the URL looks messy. It was metapayments mata.cc, and it was just kind of weird. And so I just said, look, so when she initially clicked the website, it was fine. Want the payment, you saw the payment, but when I said, just click again, ask Google or ask AI and Google about this URL, go to this URL without the payment information, and it was a dead end. So make sure you verify the URLs and the websites. That is super, super important. Okay, on to the next section. We actually have ChatGPT again. OpenAI launches ChatGPT lockdown mode to fight prompt injection attacks. So they've launched something on June 5th called lockdown mode, a brand new optional security setting for ChatGPT, and you need to know about it. So it's specifically built to defend against prompt injection attacks. So that's basically when sneaky, chaotic bad actors hide secret instructions inside web pages, praying that they can trick your AI into doing things you absolutely did not ask for. So basically, they start planning invisible commands in online content, just waiting for an unsuspected AI to stumble across them. So what does actually lockdown mode do? It slams the door on the trickiest attack routes. Once they switch it on, ChatGPT goes into total isolation. It cannot fetch images from the internet. It cannot download image files, run deep research, or use agent mode. So basically just, it's like lockdown, right? In a big compound, if you will. It locks everything down. So it will stop prompt injections from showing up in content ChatGPT reads. And yeah, so this is pretty interesting, and hopefully we'll do something else, something, hopefully will prevent lots of prompt injection attacks. Also, they've also rolled out an active session manager. This lets you see every single device currently logged into your ChatGPT account, so you can also boot them off one by one if you need it. So again, more and more attacks. We talked about the hacking last time. We talked about false websites on ChatGPT. We talked about this as well now in prompt injection attacks. Just be careful. Just be extremely careful whilst you're using AI. So again, remember the old moniker, don't trust everything on the internet. It's the same thing. Don't trust everything on AI. Trust but verify. Trust the links. Trust everything that you encounter on the internet, because it may come and bite you in the butt. Okay, next section, around the AI block. There's a few articles that I've seen that was quite interesting. Let's see. The first one is a TechCrunch article. The Trump administration might take an equity stake in OpenAI. Let's take a look here. Okay, so this is from TechCrunch, Anthony Ha, I believe. Let me just make sure. Anthony Ha, that's right. So Trump said on Friday that it may take a equity stake. Remember, we talked about kind of this whole conversation about the public taking equity stake. Bernie Sanders has demanded or requested or suggested 50%. The public took 50% of OpenAI or AI companies. Look, I generally am in view of this, in support of this, because we're the ones that built the internet, right? We built the internet together, and so we should take a stake of it. This may actually lead into the whole UBI conversation, universal basic income conversation, as well. So 50%, I don't know whether it's 50% or 20%, but I ultimately do think it's an interesting thing and it's a needed thing. So he's spoken to AI companies, President Trump has, where the American people can benefit from the success of AI. OpenAI is a likely candidate, and the equity could be used to seed a public wealth fund. Recently proposed by OpenAI, proceeds from the fund could be distributed directly to citizens, allowing more people to participate directly in the upside of AI-driven growth, regardless of their starting wealth or access to capital. So that's pretty interesting. Where the American public essentially becomes a partner with the companies. Pretty interesting. Government ownership, and this goes broadly with government ownership of public for-profit companies, most notably with the government taking a 10% stake in struggling chipmaker Intel last year. So, let's see. David Sachs, an investor and podcaster, recently stepped down from his role as Trump's AI and crypto czar. I didn't know he actually stepped down. Posted, you can see why Sanders' idea resonates, but one would actually accelerate the corporate government fusion we're already sliding towards. Well, look, I mean, it was going to happen anyways, inevitable. I've made a position on it. I think there are public utility companies like water, electricity. AI is also one of them as well, so I don't see a non-reason not to do it. I don't see a reason not to do it. Again, maybe not 50%, but something, and I think that's important. So it's good to hear that President Trump is resonating with my views. Okay, so the next piece of news that I thought was pretty interesting is that OpenAI is still working on that super app. Didn't know they were working actually on a super app. So they were working, according to the Financial Times, but this is a TechCrunch article, they have a super app with coding tools and AI agents. They want to be more competitive with Anthropic, especially with business customers. And we've seen its release actually these couple of weeks with the financial analysts, with the agents, that type of thing. So they're really trying to push this financial side and the business side. And so they want to actually have more, I don't know. It's okay. It doesn't seem like it's too much ado about nothing really at the end of the day. So it seems like it's more business oriented to compete with Anthropic. Nothing that I thought it was kind of a super app, kind of in the WeChat type of space, right? Where you can do payments, you can do transportation, whatever it may be, but it doesn't seem that way. Okay. Then we've got a bit of a lighting issue. All right, the show must go on. Okay, now we've got Trump's latest memo puts most advanced AI in the world into military hands. So there's an Engadget article, and so the memo also prevents companies from altering AI models being used by the military without prior approval. Less than a week after signing an executive order that attempts to regulate the booming AI industry, President Trump has signed a national security presidential memorandum that aims to put cutting-edge AI tools in the hands of the U.S. military. So that would mean what? U.S. government would do rapid onboarding of the most advanced AI models from multiple vendors. Okay. So new restriction to AI models used by the government where no entity, commercial or otherwise, can disable, degrade, or modify an AI system that American warfighters depend on without prior approval. So I guess this goes against the whole Anthropic thing, where Anthropic didn't want to do anything with AI, with the military, and they decided not to. But then, right. And so I think, and the Department of War actually ultimately went with OpenAI. But now this executive order says Anthropic, you can't. Okay, interesting. Not a big fan of it. I don't think that actually the government should go into affairs just like this with a memorandum, right? With a mandate even. I think it should be a negotiation where the company actually says, look, we will not pursue it or we will pursue it. I think it's a negotiation rather than a mandate. Not the biggest fan of it. Like I said, it should be a public utility, yes, but military is a very different issue, right? So consumers and citizens should be beneficiaries of the technology, but for war, it's a very total kettle of fish, right? So I'm not quite sure whether I agree with this position here. Okay, AI influencers are now indistinguishable from real creators. Now, this is a TechBuzz article. Synthetic social media personalities evolve from obvious CGI to eerily realistic. And yeah, it's basically saying that, look, we can't really tell whether they're AI influencers or not. Let's see, created by Barcelona-based creative agency The Clueless. I've heard of this before. She's a far cry from the Atiana Lopez is the AI agent, is the avatar. She's a far cry from the obviously synthetic avatars that pioneer this space. She now can pass for any other fashion influencer scrolling through your feed. Okay. Disclosure problem looms large because some, IG, for example, says that you actually have to label it AI, but sometimes I guess it just can't pick it up, right? So yeah, interesting. So my view is this, it kind of goes on like the issues. My view is generally, I think you're going to have two pieces of content, right? You've got synthetic content, AI type of content, and then you've got real content. And I think people will possibly not pay for real content, but they reward real content with their attention, right? So I think AI content is here to stay. It's getting better and better, and frankly, it's not so bad. But then if you know it's a real person, it's like craftsman, right? If you know it's a real person with real opinions, you're going to put more of your attention on there. You're going to put more of your money on there. And what attention really means ultimately is money. So I think ultimately that's going to be what's happening. Anime, you're going to have some fans, you're going to have some whatever, and that's fine. But then your real stuff, you'll reward more with your attention. You're going to have more fans because of that when it comes to life, real life. So I do think that's basically what's going to happen. So I'm not disagreeing with the fact that I don't think it's a bad thing, right, to actually have this type of content. Okay, last piece of news. Let's go over the WWDC that happened about 2 hours ago. So essentially, I just want to say the I think we're probably going to do a better coverage anyway tonight. But it seemed like basically it's mostly about Siri and Siri AI. I saw that there was something about Siri app. I noticed that kind of native intelligence is now embedded with Safari a little bit more. So the tabs are, I think, ordered better with Siri intelligence. Let's Let's see what else is there. Yeah, it just seems more Siri integrated. It's more integrated with different apps and different devices, across different devices as well. So generally, yeah, that feels like it as well. It's just more embedded. So we'll see. Um, I think the difference is with Siri. I think generally this whole thing, the reason why ChatGPT was amazing was because it came out and it just looked like it was amazing anyway, right? It was just there. It was magic. They're teasing the magic, and part of the magic is the fact that they release it and then there's a reaction, right? They release it, when you see a magic trick, you see it, recoil, and then that's great. This is like a magic trick that's happened over like 3 years, so it's really not quite magic anymore. So that aha moment isn't quite there. So it kind of feels, even though maybe at the end of the day it will be better than ChatGPT, maybe at the end of the day it'll be more powerful, but it just didn't have that aha moment. And I think it'll always, from a brand awareness, top of mind awareness, it'll always lack that, right? That aha moment that made people say, whoa, that's kind of cool. And I think that's probably the most disappointing thing. If you ask me about Siri, they tease it out. So I don't want to say that ultimately it's not good, or it wasn't good, or it won't be good, but I don't think it had that aha moment that a lot of people were waiting for, and that ChatGPT Anthropic really kind of allowed the trend to come with them, to have, and then they just rode that trend. Okay, on to the next section, trending tools. We've got 4 today. For the heavy use builders, we've got Lovable again. Isn't just a prototype tool, it turns your design concepts into fully functioning deployed web apps in hours. And that's true. I actually have some friends at Google that now use Lovable exclusively for prototyping, right? So everybody needs to use Lovable to basically show what they're built. So no more memos, no more writing or PPT presentation, actually what they're building, but really a Lovable app about what they're building, and that's what they show. And actually, I think that's a pretty strong thing. For the streamers, FragCut using Gemini to automatically detect high skill plays, multi-kills, and funny moments in your gaming footage. It then auto-crops them into vertical 9:16 clips for TikTok and Reels. So it's like basic streaming, but allows you to stream and cut stuff for social media, which is kind of cool. For the growth hackers, we've got Thumbnail Creator using face-aware generation and cell cloning to build professional YouTube thumbnails in seconds. Pretty cool, actually. I could probably use this personally. I like actually creating my own thumbnails. I kind of know what I'm doing, I think, now. And then for the narrative visionaries, Dance 2.0 by CapCut. Generally pretty cool thing. CapCut stuff allows you to create high resolution up to 2K cinematic videos from a single sentence. Pretty cool. The real heavy use feature, you can combine up to 12 references, images, videos, and audio to maintain perfect character consistency across different scenes. Pretty cool. If I were big into actually using something like Dance or CapCut, I would definitely use it. Just the interface with the CapCut, I just never really got. I mean, I used it, I kind of enjoyed it, but it just wasn't my thing as well. I just like iMovie, I like the Apple stuff a little bit better. I think that's a little more intuitive. But I think CapCut on mobile works well. On laptops, it also worked well as well. It just wasn't for me. Okay, on to the next section, AI workout of the day, how to instantly build a complete online course with AI. So some tips for maximum output. Be specific about your subject, add your flavor. Want a casual tone, academic, visual heavy, ask for optional formats, PDFs, videos, quizzes, slides, etc., and use the output to build immediately. So uploading to a course platform like Teachable, Thinkific, or Notion, or even actually I see YouTube, you can start teaching courses as well. So I've done something similar to this. I would just say, just budget a little bit more time with teaching courses and building courses. I've had to build one course and structure and curriculum in one way, and then I kind of had to build another way and redid it again. So it does take a little bit more time, and then you have to actually do the content and videotaping and all that type of jazz. It's not easy to do. I think it is worth spending a little more time because ultimately they are your students, and you have to spend more time to make sure that they get everything. So I think that is important, doing the right thing for your students. So take a little bit more time with this. This is not a prompt that you can actually buzz through and get everything done. Create some content, see how it flows, go back to the beginning, create some more, try to see how it works, and then finally settle on what you want. And then I would say that's the end of the course. So just spend a little more time on it. I think your students will thank you ultimately because of that. Okay. Thank you for watching this broadcast. Again, sorry for the lights. Something's not right. So just, I don't know, we're going to have to deal with the lights. Hopefully this information is good and you enjoyed it. And thank you again for the 2 new subscribers that we have. Let's keep going. Let's hit 150 as soon as we can. And see you tomorrow.